Hi friends, I am back in the garden today. I wanted to bring you along to show you what I was doing. Today is an absolutely beautiful day in Cleveland. It's about mid-60s, sun is shining, so it's definitely a day to be in the garden. And that's what brings us here. So today is kind of a big day for me. It's a long-term project day, and this is the first time I've really tested my patience. Today I am planting asparagus. So let's talk about asparagus for a minute. Asparagus is a perennial vegetable, so meaning that it will come back every single year, which is great. But it also takes 3 years to get a proper harvest from asparagus. The lady is a slow grower. So I've always wanted asparagus because it's an amazing vegetable. It's really good for you. It's just all the way around a good thing to have in your life. So I went and I bought some asparagus crowns, and I'm gonna get them in the ground. So what you're looking at right now is my new asparagus bed. So I just made this because I need a permanent home for these, and I need somewhere that I will remember asparagus is in there. So a lot of my other vegetable beds, I'm always changing things, putting other things in, changing the size. I can't do that with asparagus. So I built this with some bricks I had lying around in the yard. Again, I'm a hoarder, so it comes in handy. Clearly, I have a cool bed now. So I just laid these bricks down. I roughed up some of the dirt. It's a little dry because I haven't watered it in a few days. I did this like 2 days ago. And this is going to be the asparagus bed. So let me show you what an asparagus crown looks like. It's this. So it looks like a squid almost. So if you look at the top, this is the crown. Let me take my gloves off to show you a little better. And then these are all the roots. I don't know if you can see that. So this is your asparagus, and this is going to go in the ground. Look at these roots. They're like, woo! It's almost like an octopus or a squid. And these are going to be in the ground here, and then this asparagus grows up from here. So I'm not allowed to pick these for almost 3 years. These crowns, I believe, are 2 years old, so I maybe could get something next year, but I'm probably not going to. So this is going to be a major test to my patience, and I think that's good. Maybe I need to work on my patience a little bit. I mean, I know I do. So I got 3 when I bought them. I got a big guy. This is like daddy asparagus. Little ones like mommy asparagus, and little baby asparagus. So I'm gonna plant these in this bed. What you basically have to do is you have to make a trough, build a mound, spread these out over it, cover it up, and water it. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'll kind of take you step by step. So let's set these aside and dig up our trough, okay? Okay, so there you have it, my trough. Now, if you noticed, as I was doing that, I found a huge root in the middle of all this. So I could try to take this out. I have no idea what this is from, but I think I'm just gonna leave it and let it be, because that seems like a lot of work, and I'm just not into that right now. So this is about 6 inches deep. See how the dirt is nice and moist underneath that dry nonsense? So what we're going to do next is you have to kind of build a mound for the asparagus to go over. And I have compost from my compost pile. So this is like really sexy compost. It's got chicken poop in it. It's got worms. It's got clippings. Like, look at these worms right here. It's pretty crazy, right? So this is got a lot of nutrients, and it's going to go in the base of the roots of the asparagus and feed the asparagus while it's thinking and growing and thinking and growing. So we're going to use this, and I'm going to build a little mound in the middle of my trough on where I'm going to put the asparagus. Now, the asparagus needs about 12 to 18 inches between each crown. So we have lots of space. I actually could probably put a few more in here. I probably have more space than I need, but I don't know. I think for something that I'm investing so much time in, like 3 years, I want to give it plenty of room to breathe, be happy, give it lots of nutrients, because this is a rather healthy commitment, and I want to make sure it's successful. I don't want it to like me to go through this and wait and not get any asparagus. I mean, like I always mention, we don't know. This is gardening, right? Because that's part of gardening, is the unknown, and it's part of the fun, right? I guess you just wait and see. So I'm just adding all of this, making a little mound. It's not perfect, guys. Like, I'm not a perfectionist, as you can tell. You've been watching things lately. It's just the way I am. I'm not a perfectionist. Okay, so see how I have this like middle thing of really yummy compost? I guess it's like, I don't know, a little mound. Maybe it's like Serpent Mound in Ohio. Haha. Look it up. Katie, my sister, loves that. She'll appreciate that. Guys, I can't tell you how many worms there are in here. I'm pretty pumped. All right, so I have extra compost I can put around some other plants. This worm is insane. Look at this worm. Can you see it? It's a honker of a worm. This is gonna be some happy asparagus. All right, so let's take the first one and I'll show you what I'm gonna do. All right, so we got the big daddy-o asparagus. And I'm gonna spread it out, the roots, kind of like this here. Okay, so give them a little room, put them on top of that compost. Okay, look at him. He looks like an octopus or a squid. And there you go. So there's one. And then I'm gonna give it a good amount of space, so let's go, I don't know, what's a foot, right? Yeah. Let's go here. It's a little more than a foot, 18 inches, maybe 2 feet. But again, I'm not trying to cramp their style. I'm trying to give them all kinds of space and love and room to grow, okay? So do this one, make it like a little octopus. Spread out the roots over your compost mound so it has support and can whoop, or actually let's do it this way. Go like this. Okay. Give the roots all kinds of happiness. You want to give it success, you know, start with a successful planting. Take your time. And then the little baby guy. This guy, I'll put it over here. It's tiny. So we'll do this. Over here. Okay, I probably could put a fourth one, but I don't have one, so it is what it is. I'm gonna put some dirt under this one to give it a little more support. Okay, so let me show you what's going on. Give you a little more of a close-up here. And then this one here. You can see my shadows in the way. It's pretty sunny out right now. Okay? So that's how I'm planting them. And then I'm just going to cover them up and water them. So I'm going to cover these up very lightly, not a ton of dirt. I'm going to add a little more compost because I have it. Might as well use the compost to cover up the roots. So I'm just going to cover up the roots here with some nice yummy compost and make sure none of them are exposed because they'll fry in the sun. And we have plenty of all of this extra dirt too, right? So maybe I'll use a little bit of that too. to cover up the roots. So a lot of people kind of compare this to when you plant potatoes. You know how when my potato video, we planted those potatoes and we buried them. So asparagus, planting asparagus seems to be a little similar to that. Covering up the roots, also lightly. And you don't, from what I understand, want to cover up the crown, the top of the crown too much. You could put a little bit of stuff on top of it. But what you do is you cover it all up and water it. And then when this part, if you can see that, starts to sprout a little green, you add more and hill it up like you do with potatoes. So I'm gonna leave a little bit out, and hopefully, just a little bit, hopefully that will work. So I'm gonna cover it up a little bit. Leave the crown is right here. Just a little bit showing, not a ton, okay? Oop, get it off. And same idea with this one, okay? This is the first time I've done this, so, I mean, I could be doing it totally wrong. This is just nothing over here. There's a little crown here. Just make sure no roots are exposed, from what I understand. I might even put little markers on where the crowns are to remind me and know that this is where it is. So Tiffany, don't be silly when you're like gardening and doing other things. Pay attention. So I'm just going to fill in the other parts that have nothing in it to make it look pretty, because I went through all this effort with these bricks. I want to show it. And then, see, I already almost lost the crown. There's 1, 2, 3. And then you have to water it. So let's get the watering can. Because just like anything else, after you plant something, you want to make sure it has plenty of water. This water is actually from my rain barrel, so it's got the nice, yummy rain nutrients to it, which supposedly is better for gardens. I'm still out, but it makes sense. There's lots of good stuff in the rainwater. Nice and rain water. And give a good amount of water, because, I mean, if you saw those roots, they're really dry. So I'm going to give this lots of water. So we're actually not going to get very much rain for the next 4 or 5 days. So I'm probably going to make sure this is nice and moist for a while. Okay? That's about it.